Well, AEW Dark went for almost close to a 3-hour show on YouTube. But Impact Wrestling had some interesting things. Apparently, we just found out who really shot Johnny E. Bravo. The Knockouts Tag Team Championship tournament continues. And of course, we get to see the mystery partner with Jordan Grace and many other things that happen. So all of that will be discussed, reviewed, and talked about on this episode of Deleted WrestleZone.
Are you ready? Get up, get up. 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 Get up, get up.
Hey everyone, welcome to Deleted WrestleZone. All things that is pro wrestling from AEW, NXT, New Japan Pro Wrestling, Impact Wrestling, the National Wrestling Alliance, many promotions, wrestlers, matches, and championships. I'm your host, J-Rod here. So let's jump into AEW Dark. Now, if you guys catch what I said earlier in the start of this episode, that AEW Dark went a lot longer than I expected. Now, normally in the beginning, AEW Dark has always been an hour. And due to the pandemic, they've been going a lot longer than we expected, giving much exposure to several wrestlers they haven't aired on Dynamite and all this other stuff. But let's go from start to finish and see how it goes. First match of the night is a women's match between a new, well-known independents, Viperous versus Big Swole. Now, some of you may or may not have heard of her, Viperous, but I heard of her name, but I never actually seen any of her matches. But of course, as always, this is one of those jobber type of matches where the real star beats the jobber. So that became Big Swole, where she won this particular match. This next match is a tag team between Nightmare Family member Lee Johnson and Aaron Solo versus Dark Order members John 3 Silver and Alex Reynolds. So this shows more of the dominance between both Silver and Reynolds as a tag team. Mostly we haven't seen them as a tag team in Dynamite, but we have seen Silver, who's now being exposure not only as a tag team competitor, but also a singles competitor on certain occasions. But in this particular match, it goes to Silver and Reynolds on this one. Then we have a little video package where Leva Bates is now setting up on a journey, knowing the fact that she's now the sole librarian in AEW since Peter Avalon stepped away. As you know, they probably all felt, okay, we don't need 2 librarians, we just need 1. But I think that's where they're gonna go. So Leva Bates is now the sole librarian of AEW. The next match is, well, a grudge match. As you know, a while back, during a match between Trent Seven and Miro, Trent Seven botched the match, but apparently on being the elite, it was revealed it was Michael Nakasawa again putting his oil around the ring ropes. So he was looking for a fight, and that person who challenged him was none other than Trent. So basically, this was a little payback. But however, the referee Bryce somehow did the most unthinkable thing. He had to go deep inside Michael Nakasawa to remove whatever is in his trunks, his oil and all of that. But he was able to sneak one in, even if it's not in his trunks. I mean, you can say, what the fuck is Bryce thinking? Well, he is the ref. I mean, it's his call. But however, it was still not enough for Michael Nakasawa, so Trent Seven took this one. I thought it was pretty funny, but we'll see how that goes. The next match is a women's match between Tesha Price, who we already seen before, versus Red Velvet. Now, we have been seeing Red Velvet now being exposed more and more into AEW, who's under the wing of Brandy Rhodes. But it did show more Red Velvet what she can do. We know she's still does independence outside of AEW, but that's how it is. And of course, the match goes to Red Velvet as always. And then we had an interview with Shawn Spears. Now, as you know, he was in a grudge match against Scorpio Sky due to the fact of what happened a while back during Late Night Dynamite, where Sky stole his moment where he was about to destroy Matt Sydal, but it didn't happen in that manner. And he's basically saying that he will always fail. Well, we'll see how that goes, because Shawn Spears is all about talk but no action. That's always been his case. Now, the next match, well, not exactly match, we had a promo with Lance Archer and Jake Roberts, basically being all cryptic, saving words of wisdom, as always. I kind of ignored it a little bit, or fell asleep. No, I think I fell asleep, because it was late. Anyway, the next match, we have a women's match between Rache Chanel versus Kylan King. As you know, Kylan King was also signed with AEW, so we're getting to see more of Kylan King being more exposure, but only we've seen her in Dark. However, in Dynamite, we have seen her either be in the audience or be part of like a little moment we saw before when she was helping Brandy, that sort of thing. But she took the victory on this one in this match. Next match, we have Sammy Guevara, who we haven't seen on Dark for a while, versus Marco Stunt. This is one of those matches. It's not Jobber versus Star. It's Star versus Star. And it kind of went either way. But however, the match went directly to Sammy Guevara. But Sammy came out with a promo after the match, during the post-match, about how he is incredible, how he's a huge star, all that sort of thing. But we have seen that happen with him, even when he's with the Inner Circle, where he's under the wing of Chris Jericho. I don't know why they put him back in Dark, even though we've been seeing him on Dynamite, but it is what it is. Next match, we have Dream Girl Alley versus Penelope Ford. If you guys must know, I'll skip on this one, since you guys know the type of results this would be. It would be Penelope Ford winning this match, as always. But yeah, we haven't still seen her on Dynamite yet, but can't wait to see it. Next match is a women's match between Lady Frost and Bionic Beast Jenna versus the champions of the women's tag team tournament, Ivelisse and Diamante. I'm a fan of both of them, not because I'm Latino or anything. It's because I like their dynamic as wrestlers, how they obtain, of course. But the match went straight to exactly like it should be, Ivelisse and Diamante. Now, I still don't know for sure if they're full time with AEW. We'll just wait and see what happens. But I'm a fan of those two, so they should be signing with AEW because they are good what they can do. Next match, we have Adam Priest versus Brandon Cutler. Now, this is Brandon Cutler's third singles match, breaking away from the initiative, away from Peter Avalon. It did show more Brandon Cutler as a singles competitor, what he can do. And, of course, he won this match for a third straight. Supposed to what's the record he has? 3 wins, 25 losses, and 2 draws, I think. I'm not sure, but we'll see. I think that's pretty much his streak. So he already has 3 straight wins, and we'll just go and see what happens after that. Next we have is the waiting room, thanks to Britt Baker. Her special guest is Tay Conti. Now, as you know, Tay Conti is now officially with AEW. There's still that matter of if she has accepted the extended olive branch by Dark Order. As you recall, not that long ago, she teamed up with Anna Jay, and Anna Jay offered her to join the Dark Order. Still unclear for that, but Britt Baker, who the so-called role model, wanted answers. But Tay Conti doesn't want to say it because it's none of Britt Baker's business. Britt Baker likes to make it her business because she is the role model. But however, the thing changed when the Acclaim showed up going out ranting on everybody as always, or dissing people. That's always been their case. Next match, we have a six-man tag team match. We have QTB, Caesar Bononi, and this new guy, Seth Gargaz, versus the Gun Club, Billy, Austin, and Colton Gunn. They're starting to give more of the Colton in this match. There was spots where he was doing very well, even when Austin or Billy were not there. But surprisingly, it was him who picked up the victory for his team. I'm not sure exactly what this means, but do I think he is with AEW? I'm not sure. I feel like he's still learning a little bit, unlike Austin, who we've been seeing mostly, but it is what it is on that front. Then we have an interesting tag team match. I have to say it was really interesting. We have the Panda Express. Express for them is X-Press, consistent of Super and Ultimo Panda. Yeah, they're pandas. Don't ask me why. Facing off against the Jurassic Express, Jungle Boy, and Luchasaurus. Now, this was a good match. I have to say, I like it because it had a different type of dynamic and type of booking. I feel like this is a good one. I enjoyed it. But of course, the winner always has to be the fan favorites, Jurassic Express, But I like the Panda Express. I know one person who's a Panda fan. And I don't know what she's doing, but I would love to show her this. But we'll see how that goes. So let's move on to the next match. We have Griff Garrison and Brian Pillman Jr. facing off against the Hybrid 2. Now, this match was really a good one because, as you know, Griff Garrison and Brian Pillman Jr. have been a good team. I think they may have one match won, but however, it's still not enough when it comes to guys like the Hybrid 2, due to Jack Evans' loudmouth and Angelico's ability to put whatever submission moves he can put in. So they won the match, but however, the match went into the Hybrid 2 attacking Brian Pillman, but all of a sudden they decided to go attack Top Flight because Top Flight hasn't forgotten what these guys did to them on the last Dynamite show, attacking them from behind. So that's what happened, and they will be facing them on Dynamite. Then we have a tag team match between Alex Chamberlain and Damian Finrer, hopefully I pronounce it right, versus the Acclaim, as they are the latest addition with AEW, mostly been on Dark, but they have a great dynamic where you have Max Caster, who's the MC, dissing everyone, and Anthony Bowen being the powerhouse, if that's the correct term. But of course, the match goes to the Acclaim as always. But we only been seeing these guys at Dark mostly. But we'll see how that goes. Next match, we have Allen 5 Angels versus Matt Sydal. So this is a really good match to watch because, as you know, Matt Sydal is now All Elite. He's the newest addition as well. And of course, Allen wants him to join the Dark Order because forget about the state of mind that he's been. As you know, as I talked before about Matt Sydal in the previous episode, he has been reinventing himself, and that's what he did. But however, in this match, he had to be more careful with 10, who was by 5's corner, but it did not help. Basically, Matt Sydal took the victory on this one, putting him in a submission move. So, the match goes to Matt Sydal. The next match we have is Fuego del Sol versus Peter Avalon. Now, as you all know, Peter Avalon, much like Brandon Cutler, was on a losing streak. Basically, he had 27 losses, but 2 time limit draw matches. But however, this match was good, and surprise to everyone, Peter Avalon finally gets a victory on this. So he won the match, his first victory within AEW. So he has a long way to go to catch up. Now we have the main event, which is a triple threat tag team match between Chaos Projects, Luther and Serpentico versus Dark Order members Stu Grayson and Evil Uno versus Sonny Kiss and Joey Janela. Now, I like this match because I'm a fan of Chaos Project, Joey Janela, and Sonny Kiss. And I love the dynamic between those guys. But however, you cannot deny the ability of guys like the Dark Order, both Stu and Evil Uno. And basically, it's how it turns out. Now, any way could go. But however, the match went directly to the Dark Order. So basically, now they're showing much of their diamonds. But the real question we need to ask, when are we going to see Brody Lee back? Because we do know he's out on injury that he obtained during the match against Cody. So I think that's pretty much it, what we got for AEW Dark. I say let's move on to Impact Wrestling. Okay, so Impact Wrestling starts with Scott D'Amore at the hospital visiting Johnny E. Bravo. At first, he thought they were asking him that they're going to pull the plug out of life support, which was kind of funny. But however, the mystery has already been solved about something that we didn't know about Bravo. As you know, his name is in fact John E. Bravo. So basically, it stands for the E, John Emmett Bravo. So yeah, mystery solved. So basically, we don't know why he goes by E, like Johnny E. Bravo, but it is. But however, the doctor did say that he is in stable condition, which is good. But the mystery is still out there. Who shot Bravo? We're going to see that in the Wrestler's Court in a while. But let's start with the first match, which was to open in the first round for the Knockouts Tag Team Title Tournament. First team is Kara Hogan and Tasha Steelz, who most likely be one of the few who could win this tournament, and of course were the architects of bringing this type of thing back into Impact. Versus Sea Stars. I never heard of the Sea Stars, but however, I am familiarized with one of them. One of them is Ashley Voss, who I've seen in NWA. But her sister is her tag team partner. But she doesn't go by any other name. It's kind of like the similar last name. She goes by Delmy Eox or Exox. I can't pronounce that last word. But don't ask me why. I don't know. But the match was okay. It showed the Sea Stars, they're a good, solid tag team. But however, you cannot overturn the dominance between both Kiera Hogan and Tasha Steelz. So they actually took the victory on this one. But however, what we didn't know, a week ago, Jordynne Grace called someone saying that they need her. She needs her to be her partner for the tournament, and we didn't know who, and said there was someone who was retired. And I know there was a lot of speculation. Some people thought it was Taylor Wilde, who retired, and now it's a firefighter. But to my surprise, it was in fact former WWF Women's Champion, former NWA World Women's Champion, Jazz. I was surprised. But she did state it, why not in her retirement winning the Knockouts Tag Team Championships? I mean, why not? I mean, go out with a bang. I think, isn't that what people always say? Go out with a bang. But it was good. I'm not going to lie about it. Now, the next thing we see, as you know, the North haven't been themselves ever since losing the tag team titles to the Good Brothers. So Ethan Page decided they want one chance to get those titles. But however, he was in a good mood. But however, it was revealed that he took out Doc Gallows. But Josh Alexander was in dismay for what he did. He kind of saying, how are we going to get those titles back while he's out? So basically, Josh Alexander, he is more smarter than any other. Like, thinks logic over, ego. But however, they may get a chance, but they have to face, Ethan Page has to face a phenomenal wrestler. And of course, that was still buzzing everyone We'll get to that in a bit. Just too funny. But then we did see Johnny Swinger, who we all know believes it could be the guy who shot Johnny E. Bravo, is now in a orange jumpsuit being escorted by Cousin Jake to Wrestles Court. And of course, we have D'Lo Brown, who is the prosecutor, Madison defending Johnny E. Bravo, but he's wearing one of those braces that you use, when you come out of the hospital, and Madison tells him, "What's with the neck brace?" Oh, I was told it's sympathy, Daddy. He thinks that sympathy is going to help him get out of it. Don't ask me why. But of course, the judge was none other than Tommy Dreamer. But however, Madison Rayne kind of said that his involvement could jeopardize the case. But she made it a little worse. Apparently, Bravo took over. D'Lo Brown took over as judge and Dreamer as the prosecutor. But there were witnesses they brought in. So Fallah Bahh said his reason to believe that Swinger was responsible for the shooting Bravo was because Bravo chose Fallah as his best man. And of course, the next witness was Cody Deaner. Deaner said that, he remembers the gun shot, but however, he did find the fanny pack containing the gun. And that's pretty much it. And of course, AC Romero, I don't know what his role was, but they put him as a fingerprint expert, saying, you had your fingerprints on it, so did Swinger and all. Like, okay, that's kind of... Who made him as the fingerprints expert? That was so funny. But we will continue that. So that was part 1 of Wrestles Courts. The Boys versus Johnny Swinger. So that's what they're calling it. Now, the next thing we have is the Defeat Rohit Challenge. Now, as you know, Rohit Raju has been putting his X Division title on the line. But he decided to put it on the line with the next challenger, and the next challenger was Suicide. Now, however, this is draw a little suspicious for Rohit. He was suspicious about Suicide. Now, if you guys know the history of Suicide, the man behind the mask, Suicide was played by various people. One of them was TJP. So Rohit decided, you know what? I'll give you the match, but it won't be a non-title match. So basically, it went that way. However, it kind of ended in a surprising move. He takes off the mask. He was happy he removed it. But however, he did not look who was wearing it, because he assumed it was TJP. But it wasn't. TJP comes out in the entranceway, telling him, who's that? And it was none other than Crazy Steve. He hijacked the match and won it. He committed a heist. So Rohit could not believe he was outsmarted. I don't know what TJP was doing, but I have to say he outsmarted him this time. So that means Crazy Steve could have an opportunity for the X Division Championship. Smart way. That's something Rohit doesn't have. It's brains. So anyway, we go backstage. We see Sami Callihan motivating Ken Shamrock. But however, the motivation was cut thanks to Moose. Now, Moose has this new attitude that I mentioned many times over. But however, his biggest problem is that the Impact World Championship is being more attention than the TNA World title. He's saying that the TNA World Heavyweight Championship is the number 1 title in Impact. Saying that it'll be nothing more than the second best championship. But of course, he had to do the one thing he did. He claims that he beat him for the title. What is he talking about? He never beat him for a title match. It was just a match because he had a problem with him. Moose really got out of the deep end. He needs to stop with this nonsense. Someone please burn the TNA title or something. Now, the next thing we see is Tennille Dashwood and Caleb with the K hanging out. Now, however, I thought in the back of my mind that Alicia Edwards was going to get in her face after what happened last time. But little did we know, it kind of didn't happen that way. it seems that she was okay with the idea. I think she's trying to gain new friends. Don't ask me why, but let's see how this goes. It's kind of interesting to see. Now, the next match is more of a preview match. It's going to take place during the Knockouts Tag Team Title Tournament. It's Kimberly with Deonna Purrazzo, the current Knockouts champ, facing off one of the teams the team they'll face next week. One of them, Killer Kelly, and along with Renee Michelle. If you guys familiarize with Renee Michelle, she's the real life wife of Jake Maverick when he was chasing the 24/7 title. But it was a good match. I did like this. It did show a little preview that we might get to see something good next week. And of course, Kimberly took the victory on this one. But however, something just happened. Hi, I'm Susie. You hurt my friends. That was bad. Let me introduce you to my friends. And I just did very bad. Sorry. Su Yung was right there next to Susie. Talk about bizarre. I thought Susie and Su Yung were the same. I'm like, what just happened? Did we just see Susie and Su Yung split? I mean, have anybody seen The Nutty Professor too, where Sherman separated himself from Buddy Love? I feel like that. But, of course, Kimberly and Deonna Purrazzo cannot believe that. But it's still, yeah. Now, we jump into an interview. We finally get the return of Alex Shelley, one half of the Motor City Machine Guns, who was out on injury thanks to Triple XL. But they claim out a plan. 1, get even with Triple XL. 2, even with the North. 3, to gain the tag team titles that currently is being held by the Good Brothers. So that's their plan. We'll just wait and see where they're going to go from there next. And then we go backstage. We see Willie Mack and, of course, Rich Swann hanging out. But, of course, Chris Bay, the finesse, starting to stir things up again. Pissing off Rich Swann, who he feels that he should get a title shot for the Impact World Championship. But the real question is, will he ever get a title shot for that? I don't know. Because there's a long list of people that would want to get the title. And I hate to be that. Now it's this match I've been dying to see. Ethan Page along with Josh Edwards of Alexander for the North facing off against a phenomenal opponent. At first, we thought it was AJ Styles. But in the back of my mind, I'm like thinking, no, there is no way. I think they're going to pull something funny. And that turned out to be what's right. It was none other than Swoggle dressed as AJ, calling himself the Wenomenal One, AJ Swoggle. I thought it was so funny. I mean, come on. The Good Brothers. They're all about having a little fun. But, man, that match was so good. I just can't stop laughing. But even though it looks like the North will never get another opportunity for the tag team titles. Ethan's ego cost him the match. So I don't know what's happening, but could this be the end of the North? Because if you look at Ethan Page, he has ego. We'll just wait and see. Now we're back in Wrestle Court. More evidence is coming up. Now, however, Johnny Swinger is in the stands. He kind of talked to Dreamer, telling him, come on, you know me for many years. You know me, I cut corners. I like to cheat. But am I capable of doing something like this? So he kind of asked any of the Stooges who are right there in the stands watching could have been the one to do it. Fair point. So Dreamer brought in Father James Mitchell saying that he suspects someone, which was kind of interesting. And that's when he pointed out the one person, Rosemary. But he did ask this question to Rosemary. Did she truly love Bravo? Turns out she wasn't. She was only a sacrificial lamb. But out of nowhere, here comes Bravo saying that he couldn't believe it, that she never loved him. But however, that's when the real mystery began. Bravo said, as much as he hates Rosemary, he knows he says it wasn't her who shot him. And that's where the curiosity kicks in. Dreamer tells him, how would you know? The place was dark. He's like, Tommy, I didn't actually see him. I smelled him. Now, this is where it becomes very interesting. Larry D, once again, gets a lie detector test. He says that it wasn't him. But however, there is one person they missed. So Dreamer asked him the question, and that's when he hit the perfume. And Larry D transformed himself as Lawrence D. And it was revealed that it was Lawrence D who shot him. Revenge for taking the woman he loved. So, because the new evidence suggests Lawrence D's behind it, Johnny Swinger, well, he was found not guilty, and once again, he claims the judge took sympathy of him. Like, that neck brace had nothing to do with it. Laurie D confessed. I'm like, this is the most bizarre wrestle court I've ever been in. But, so he's out. Then we had the next match between Falabal and Daivari, but it didn't go into a no contest. It went due to the fact, here we go again, the world-class Maniac and Joe Daring attacked them. And then Rhino tried to get payback for what happened last week. But it wasn't enough, and Eric Young goes, this world is not meant for us, it meant for them. So who's going to stop this Maniac? We'll just wait and see where we get there. Then we see Crazy Steve and Swoggle and TJP laughing their asses off, knowing what happened. That Crazy Steve took the victory against Rohit, and of course Swoggle beating Ethan Page. But however, they were being buzzkilled by none other than the so-called the most professional wrestler, Brian Myers. He thinks that they're a bunch of jokes. Well, we'll see about that. Then we saw in another segment, Deonna Purrazzo and Kimberly making a deal with Father James Mitchell to do something about Su Yung and Susie. Now, there is a thing you should know. Never make a deal with the devil. You don't know what Father James Mitchell is up to. The only people who know that is Rosemary, Havoc, and Su Yung. So, better be careful, girls. Now it's main event time. We got the Impact World Championship between Ken Shamrock and Rich Swann. This was one of those tough matches where anything could happen. Shamrock could be the next Impact World Champion, or Rich Swann retain it. It turned out Rich Swann actually retained the title, but however, the match ended really bad where he was attacked by Sami Callihan and the Bat. Then his longtime friend Eddie Edwards shows up to defend him, but however, he got tied up. And Sammy whacked him in the head, and he was bleeding from the side of the head. D'Lo Brown tries to stop him, but seems the world-class Maniac, the most dangerous man, and the hacker himself, Sami Callihan, is now making a statement. So we'll see what happens next week. We'll just wait and see what's going to happen in the Knockouts Tag Team Tournament and very others. So I hope you guys enjoy this episode. So I must bid all of you guys adieu. So goodbye. Mwah. And have a nice day. Bang.